So the first fight, we dashing out. This is good enough for extra mobility. We just getting on point, I guess, near the point. This is interesting because you're not exactly playing near your team, but still, you kind of like
Mhm.
from what you told me, you're trying to apply pressure from the flank. Okay. We're applying pressure on Zarya. You hear someone on the left, I guess. Yeah. So there's a Widow. Trying to deflag that.
Still
Okay.
working on optimal turret takeout, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There are turrets which are
Mhm.
preventing us in getting kills. Like, those turrets are pretty annoying, of course, but you can kind of deal with those. But if we talk about maybe let's start with our positioning. So,
Mhm.
I would even phrase it this way. Let's look at how do we engage. So when we engage, in what it really means for us is us closing the distance. So yes, as a Genji, you have some poke potential. You can kind of throw your shurikens from really, really far when using your mouse one, but eventually you want to get close with something, with someone, so you get a kill on that target, because your fire rate with right clicks is faster. You also deal much more damage with your right clicks. If I'm not mistaken, it
Mhm.
should be around 168 if you do headshot damage even. So
Mhm.
imagine we can maybe even one-shot the squishies if we follow up with a dash as well. So we want to just understand how do we close the distance here. So if we just look right now, when we're trying to fight. And obviously, when we close in the distance, yeah, we need to get kills, but let's look
Mhm.
at our positioning now. So let's start with a question. Who do we should focus? What do you think?
I think supports are probably my number one priority
Yeah.
outside of select cases. I think other the DPS side, long range DPSs who don't have a lot of good, like a Widow, I think is a perfect example of like a good Genji target. They don't have a lot
Okay.
of tools to deal with when I'm up close. I can get in her face really fast and
Okay.
provide a lot of annoying pressure. Same thing with like an Ashe probably. So those kinds of characters.
Sure, sure, definitely. When there is not too many tools to answer to your aggression, like they don't have their defensive cooldowns. Maybe even though I'm Widowmaker, I still have some sort of cooldown such as grapple. But anyway, this is
Mhm.
not that scary as maybe me being really mobile. Like let's say this is Tracer, definitely engaging the Tracer would be really, really hard because a lot of mobility, or engaging something like McCree because he has his flash. So CC
Yeah,
ability is also kind of scary for us. So we don't want to go
yeah,
for it.
definitely.
So I would just say 200 HP targets, that generally speaking, because 200 HP targets are supports, maybe DPSs. So like the Widowmaker currently, yeah, she has a little bit more HP, so this is even better. 200 HP targets plus you want to add kind of stationary
Mhm.
target would be the best, because those targets cannot escape this easily. That's why going after Zenyatta's is usually free. You
Yeah,
can just
yeah,
dash
yeah.
in, get Zenyatta. This is really, really good. Okay, obviously there's kind of more complexity. Yeah, they don't have CC. This is even better. But yeah, we can kind of like generalize it, simplify it. 200 HP stationary target is the best. So this is the first. Now we can put those two targets in kind of like two categories, I would say. So the first category would be isolated target, and the second one is just not isolated, I would say.
Okay.
Usually, you want to look to engage on isolated targets as much as possible because you have that burst potential. Like, let's say there's a Widow, you can just go for the Widow and try to kill her, one-shot her because she's isolated. She's not gonna get any support from her team. Kind of, it will be really hard to bubble the Widow. Like from this range, we cannot
Mhm.
bubble her. We cannot maybe shield her. It's really uncomfortable to also heal her. Maybe I'm a Mercy again. I cannot heal that Widow. So isolated target should be our priority. But then,
Okay.
if
Makes sense.
people are not isolated, like these guys here, this group of people is not isolated, then how do we engage versus them? So the maybe okay, let's start with the thing like, should we go after the Widow here or not? What do you
Yes.
think?
I would say yes, yeah.
I'd say yeah, probably. Why?
She doesn't have any support from her team. It's a good matchup for me in theory. Like I'm I've got more tools than she does in the range I'm gonna get to
Mhm.
her at, and then I'll kill her, get dash back, and it's pretty safe, non-committal
Okay.
if I can get that dash
So
back.
yeah, she's you can simplify it even there. Just isolated is, I would say, like enough. When you're in a game, you see isolated, you like click. Okay, this is a good target, generally speaking. Okay, or if people are not isolated, so if we decided to fight this group, this is also possible, but you have to
Hmm.
look for some variables which can help you to do so. So maybe let's first of all identify who is better target when we fight in this group. What do you say?
I think the Mercy is probably the first one I would look at.
Mercy, okay, sure. What about Sim?
Symmetra, I think, is in theory pretty good. She's not very mobile.
Mhm.
She's a little. It's a little tricky for me, especially at my level. I think
Because of the
not
turrets?
having any deflect is pretty tough.
Oh,
Like the
right, yeah, okay.
I think beam characters in general or non-deflectable characters can be tricky for me at close
Exactly,
range. But
okay.
in theory, I think I can. I think I can win a 1v1 with the Symmetra. I probably should most of the time.
Yeah, generally
So
speaking, it's this matchup is pretty comfortable, like for you, because she's really, really stationary. It's kind of, you can take your
mhm.
time to land those shots. If you land this one right click on the target again, it's 168 damage potentially with the headshot. So this is really, really good. For you, the Mercy is also a good target. So yeah, the Mercy Sim, sure, but how do we fight those targets? So see what happened with our positioning now. We are here, we're trying to shoot the Zarya from this side. I think we also went after HP pack. Just a quick kind of note.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whenever you are trying to go after HP pack, usually as a Genji, you wanna usually you don't want to waste your dash, I would say, because the
Okay,
dash is the
that
tool
makes
which
sense.
allows you to kind of like engage, do stuff in a fight. Usually using the dash is really, really expensive, but this is just the small
Mm-hmm.
part about like why we use the dash even. So we use the dash because we miss some HP, but why we were missing this HP?
I think I got. Did Zarya beat me? I can't remember how I took damage.
Okay, so we took damage, right? But I would say it's not that crucial, like in terms of, yeah, sure, we can damage in the fight, but why we
Oh,
cannot get healed though?
um, like, are you like I don't know, like why wouldn't I go for the healing over the health pack for my team?
What I mean, yeah, from perspective, or from the positional perspective, why it's hard for your team to heal you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, currently in our position, because we are here, who can really heal us? Because we are kind of isolating ourselves as well. We kind of
Yeah.
not playing in the team solo as this is not the best. So with the
Mm-hmm.
Genji, what we can say whenever you're taking a fight is let's take off angles on the map. So off angles
Mm-hmm.
are the positions where your team still can support you, but you're not playing exactly like behind them. You're still taking an extra angle, like
Mm-hmm.
again, your team is going maybe this way. Approaching from here, you can maybe thinking about approaching through the window, or maybe you can be thinking
Okay.
about approaching through the right side here using this building here, because your
Mm-hmm.
team still can support you. You can apply pressure on the backline. You can stay alive and yeah, just hold your position kind of on the map. If you're playing Tracer, flanking is okay. If you're playing somewhat other really, really mobile character, like Genji is he's pretty mobile, but he's not that mobile if you compare it to something like Tracer or Doomfist, or I would say
Okay.
even Reaper. If there are characters like self-sufficient characters like Reaper or Hog and Tracer, by the way, and really mobile, those characters usually can flank on the map because they
Mm-hmm.
can just it's not that expensive for them if they flank. Let's say I'm a tracer.
That makes
I
sense. Yeah.
only have to use one blink to get towards HP pack, and then I can get back in. I'm kind of self-sufficient for that. If I'm doing that. But if you're playing Genji, it becomes really expensive. You use your entire abilities to just like maintain those flank positions. I would not say it's not possible to flank, but it's really, really hard, generally speaking, to just get any value from your flanks unless you time it really well, unless you like maybe even communicate with your team somehow. Our positioning here is just us taking off angles. Maybe
Okay.
Are you kind of familiar with this term, by the way?
Yeah, that's big in Valorant, so I kind of understand
Nice. Okay.
that concept. Yeah.
Nice. This is good because in Overwatch taking off angle, especially if you use the Genji, is really crucial. Also, you playing characters such as McCree, this is also really crucial to McCree because McCree is not that self-sufficient character. He needs to take off angles on the map, but not just flanks. Generally speaking, again, I would say just generally speaking, because sometimes there's some exceptions, but 90% of our games is just we should be taking off angles on the map. Okay, so off angles is the first part, and then the second part is how do we close the distance? What do we do? How do we, maybe let's say it this way, how do we get a kill? So you told me that, you know, in some combos, right? But if we are here, let's say we are taking this off angle here where your team can still support you. So your Zarya can bubble you, your Ana can heal you, your I don't know, even Brig can just throw an armor pack at you and you will be healed. So let's say we're here. How we would engage this Mercy? What do you think?
If I was right there?
Yeah, just in theory.
I think I'd probably start with my left click and try and soften her a little bit, and then dash in, try and hit the right click, hopefully get the kill and dash out.
Okay, dash in, right click, get the kill, dash out.
Yeah, melee.
Yeah, maybe dash out depending. Yeah, if you need to, sure. I would do, what I would do even. Can you go in a training range and just show how do you do this combo which you just described to me, if it's okay?
Yeah. Let me put the game real quick.
Okay, I'm looking at your screen. Yeah, let's just find a target. Maybe even we can go to the moving bots and try to shoot them. Stationary bots are also fun, but I guess moving are a little bit better, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's just take a look. How do we
Here, I'd probably like left click little.
Sure.
You can go for that.
Okay, let's
Something
try
like
it again.
Okay.
One more time. Just one more time.
Okay.
Okay, so what I notice is when you use your dash, where should you end up when you do it, generally speaking? What do you think?
I've been trying to go behind them, because that's normally disorienting, but that could be wrong.
Sure, behind can work. But okay, let's try it again, actually. Let's try it again and just doing behind like what you said. Okay. Okay, so let's stop. And now I'm just gonna screen share and show you something, and you can try to implement it. Okay. So whenever we do our combo, what you try to do there, by the way, is the general just mouse one dash right click combo. I would say it's the most common, so it's used a lot. This is really good combo. I would say this is what we're gonna look for the most part. But the way we want to implement it is instead of us trying to just, well, sometimes we can dash behind the enemy, but I would say let's start with kind of simple approach where we just wanna end up kind of at their feet. Why it's important is because, well, first of all, it will be really easy for you to land your right click. So yes, I can end behind, but my general approach is to not the end behind, but end at someone's feet. How do I end at someone's feet is I need to give myself some extra... I need to be a little bit higher. Like, generally speaking, I need to like maybe jump, or I need to do the wall climb. Kind of like wall climb also helps to gain you a little bit better angle on the enemy. Because if you just dash, like you did here, for example, like, okay, you was shooting the bot, and then you try to dash, a lot of times, what's gonna happen to you is you're gonna end up behind the enemy, and you're gonna end up really far. So again, I'm just gonna show it, like, I'm shooting like this, I'm ending up really far behind the enemy. So I wanna just add this extra layer where I do the shooting, but then I just wanna jump Okay, let me just, okay, this bot is better. Okay, so I do the shooting, and then I kind of, okay, I missed it, let's try again. So
Yeah, I
I'm
get your
shooting,
point.
and then, yeah, I just dash towards their
Okay.
feet. I'm shooting, and then I dash towards their feet. And then I go for the right click, but you don't have to do it fast. It's just like, the general rule for us is to always, yeah, do the jump before we dash. Let's try it. Can you try it and just screen share it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's try to do the jump before we looking for the right click. So we do the mouse one, and then we do the jump, so we get a little bit better angle. Yeah, so our general approach is to dash towards the feet always. Yes, we can maybe end up a little bit behind or a little bit in front, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, let's try again. Wanna look at it again? Okay, sure. So see, try to place your crosshair just in where their feet are. Yeah, exactly. This is much better. Okay, let's try one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. One more time. Yeah, so we can also do this. Nice. Okay, yeah, this is good enough. Okay, we can stop. In future fights where you try to engage, I looked a lot of times. You try to dash in, but we ended up really behind like the enemy. We tried to look for the kills, but it just was really hard for you to secure those because of the distance.
Okay.
For example, okay, let's look at our engagement here. So see, we're trying to go after Symmetra, but the way I dash, I end up really behind the Sim. So if I just ended up right here, if you shoot this Symmetra with the following shots, she would be dead instantly.
Makes sense, yeah.
So right here, we can even look how many shurikens we landed right after that. Okay. Yeah, I guess we also kind of like, yeah, we didn't hit the right click exactly. But this is one more important part about the combo. So we wanna implement the jump, sure, but we also wanna add trigger discipline to what we do. So instead of us harassing the shots, like instead of us going for the shots instantly, you want to take time, just wait a little bit and make sure your crosshair is right on the target, right on the head, or I would say even on the neck of the characters. This way you will hit the headshot for sure.